Welcome to Dorker Realms. While most gamers will be familiar with Dungeons & Dragons from the newest edition of the game, there is a movement amongst some players called the Old School Revival, taking inspiration from the design philosophy of the earliest editions of D&D and bringing them into the modern era. These games and adventures emphasize the weird, the challenging, and the hardcore. Bear witness as our intrepid players explore unusual and dangerous tales in these old school adventures.
Welcome back to Dorker Realms. We're on our victory lap of the Flood episodes. Got a couple of fuckle things to clean up. That's what I almost said, and then I was like, it's too good not to say.
Fuckle cream, my favorite donut.
We got a couple things to clean up, and then we'll do our catharsis at the end of this, so stick around, everyone. DM, where are we?
You're just outside of the pit right now.
Excellent. I want to travel back to the dam.
Did we not explore? There was also like a castle here, right?
Oh, yes. Let's go look at this castle.
From here, you can see directly across the course of the river, which is now very small compared to the lake it used to be, that what appeared in the far distance to be a castle is in fact a twisted black rock formation, some of those kind of like volcanic smokers that you see at the bottom of the ocean floor and occasional lake floors, and every once in a while it spits up hot water and a little bit of gas. Yes, a vent.
Very exciting.
Oh, you already knew this?
All right, let's go back to the base of the dam.
Yeah, all right. Let's make our way back.
The trip back to the foot of the dam takes you more than a day. You have to stop over for the night since you've been exploring the observatory for most of the day. So you arrive back. I assume you want to go all the way down?
Yes.
So you arrive back at the foot of the dam midday the next day.
All right. We need some combo magic to pull this boat out. Give me a nice blessing.
And then you will use the giant?
On two people.
Ooh. Well.
Two giants.
Let me...
Twice as good as one giant.
It does not grow exponentially in usage?
I don't think so.
If you crit miss...
And then I wait 24 hours and try again.
Oh, you're really going for this, huh?
Hopefully not becoming corrupted and getting like a giant eyeball in my head.
What's wrong with 3 eyes?
No, not a new eyeball.
Just one eyeball?
That's giant, yes.
Oh.
One of them gets giant. That can happen.
In proportion to the...
Like this big.
Well, because like 18-foot Bindel and 100-foot Bindel's eye, I'm sure, would be different. So,
all right.
You know, maybe one of my limbs will get
Petra will cast
giant too.
Bless on herself. All right. She gets 12, the minimum. The next will be 17, which will give me a +1 to... Me a +1 to for one turn.
Yeah, so now you use that to get an even better one, and then we slowly work our way up to a +7 or 5.
Well, that's okay. I get a 22, which gives me 1d3 plus cleric level. So that is +6, and I radiated an aura of +6.
And that's for a turn?
Yes.
Shield!
yep. Here we go. A fleet.
Just want to stack all of them bonuses, yeah?
I barely succeed.
How high do you need to get your bonus?
Oh, no, it just doesn't matter. It's whenever you cast it. It's a mercurial effect.
Oh, right. So even if you... As long as you succeed or even if you fail?
As long as you succeed.
Okay.
So for the next 3 rounds, so I'll cast a giant on Petra. 15, you said +6?
+6.
21 plus 8 is 29 plus 3 is 31. So one off of the max, but know.
Do you need the max to target multiple people?
No, I need the max to make you 100 feet tall, but we don't necessarily need that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, 3 people with this one. Okay.
Do you want to do Pothos as well, or are you going to target yourself?
I need people with hands.
This is very specifically not have hands and is incapable of climbing ropes.
All right, so Petra, myself, and Reza will each triple in size.
Nice.
Between the 3 of us, can we lift the boat out of the water?
What does it do to your strength?
That's a good question. I believe it's a +6 to strength.
I believe that's correct.
And strength, yes. But also, like, we're giant, so I assume it's proportional.
We could also, like, pull the boat. Maybe it's buoyant.
It's
It's
currently
filled with water.
And isn't it also like half buried at the bottom?
Yes, it's more than half buried.
Okay.
Well, we can, like, dig around it, too, and stuff. Like, we basically have trowels, like, giant fucking scoops for hands now.
Yeah. Well, I was
I'm
saying,
honestly not sure, but I'm just gonna say okay
cool.
Okay.
because it weighs over a ton, so it's pretty.
Well, I
damn
imagine
heavy.
Each
Even
of us
for
weighs.
like
Well, no, I guess that's
3
not-
times?
even for like an 18-foot tall person, a ton is pretty heavy.
No,
yeah,
you're
but
right.
there's 3 of us is the whole thing. I guess I can, like, keep casting in large until I get bigger if you want.
This is why I said I'm just gonna accept.
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So eventually we dig out this boat. Is it indeed solid gold?
Yes.
All right. Well, now we have a solid gold boat.
If we manage to get it out, and we'll turn it upside down on the shore for a while to let the
Let the
water all
water
drain
run out?
out.
Yeah.
And then maybe see if it will like still float, and then we can just ride.
Definitely not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
solid gold, dude.
I don't know. Most boats are solid metal. Well, not solid, I guess, but
Yeah.
Not anywhere near.
I don't think it would be buoyant.
I mean, yeah, gold is dense. I got that. I make a raft out of all the food.
I don't know how we'll transport this, but we have a solid gold boat.
Can we tear it apart? I mean,
Probably.
I assume you guys just repeatedly cast Bless into Shield into Enlarge, and then you just slowly make your way across the countryside.
Okay, before we do that, I want to gather up all of the heads from the golems and put them in the dam and see what happens.
yeah, all of the hedron
Yeah.
shapes.
They just open the sluice gates.
So if we had done
we
it,
did it. We opened
if-
the sluice gates.
if the breaking of the dam hadn't happened, that's how we would open it enough for the waters to lower to get in. Oh, I guess that's a question for later.
All right, so we
that took so much time because we had to retrieve those heads.
yeah, whatever. We take the boat back to
I'll bet you your friend would be real happy
the
with that.
city and
With all those sailors.
try and figure out how to sell it or get it back to somewhere where we can sell it for more. Or I guess that's pretty much the adventure, right?
Oh,
I mean, the captain of the ship would take it off your hand for like 100 GP.
I'll give him like a little nod from it for 100 GP.
Or it's weight in gold. We trade gold for gold.
Yeah, I
One's
mean
currency,
it's
one's
literally
not.
No one in this town is going to be able to afford a solid gold boat in the midst of their starvation and flooding.
however, we will make sure to pay a visit to the mayor.
well, we could cut the boat into parts
Yeah.
and then transport the parts because it's solid gold, so it doesn't matter what shape it's in.
The aesthetic, there might be an addition, like someone might pay more for the aesthetic value of the gold boat, but that's a bit of a.
I don't think it would make a difference at that point.
Is there?
'Cause I don't think you could sell it as a whole. Like, who could buy it? The king?
Your friend?
No.
No?
There's no way.
Robert?
Okay.
No. Is there? Are we actually going to do shares of this boat?
I mean, that's how the party works.
Yeah.
So 3/4, half share, and then Bindil has the huge share. Because it's the first time.
I thought Petra got graduated to a full share at some point.
I never graduated you to a full share.
okay.
We've never really done shares either.
Yeah, that's
I
what
figured
I'm
we'd
saying.
just split it.
Yeah.
Oh, we splitting it into
And
3.
yeah,
we're
okay.
an actual party now, not just you know.
I mean, this is his first adventure.
Oh.
That he agreed to a third of a share to. Right. But it was kind of a joke.
Okay, and then
The mayor was going to pay us for saying there's nothing up there, right?
Yes.
We're
Or at
bringing
least-
back a fucking gold boat. You think she's going to pay you?
Yeah, we didn't bring this from inside the dam.
Also, you could be like, well, there's nothing there now because we
Yes.
took this away.
True.
That was part of the thing.
True.
because
So Petra is going to report to the mayor.
I'm going to go return the spoon, and I'm going to...
Avatar!
And then I'm going to...
You've returned to us with the spoon!
Yes, I have.
I knew you were the promised one sent by the optical god.
Did anyone try to commit suicide while I was gone?
I did, but the disciples stopped me. I'm
right.
sorry. We took good care of your...
Warhorse.
Warhorse.
Yeah.
Solid Clydesdale you got there.
Smack
A worthy
that ass.
mount for our glorious avatar.
And I'm here for your faith. Thank you for staying alive. And this should be more than enough. It's the spoon, but also I took like one of the portholes on the ship. I'm like maybe like 20 pounds of gold. I just handed to him. This should help with recovery for the church.
Thank you, Saint Reza.
Raise of the lawful. Will be
Oh,
fine.
right.
Reza the lawful.
I'm
Our
about to go see that
avatar
little shit.
sent to us by the optical god.
Yeah,
I'll
We
wait
can
by the
never
boat
thank
until
you enough.
Petra gets back, though.
We will tell tales of you to our grandchildren. You will be forever canonized within these halls.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, don't die.
Wait, we have to get an artist to sketch you for the statue.
Oh. Sure.
You've got time.
All right, just a quick one.
Okay. I tried to sit up, but I realized that my vertebrae is curved.
So you try to sit up and you slump 90 degrees to the left.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is not worth
So
it.
you'll also forever be Reza the Hunched.
No, I don't sit still for the painting. I start doing like downward dog yoga and handstands, neck
Downward
rolls.
fucking dog.
And I'm like, what was that, Mr. Artist?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. And then like, yeah, I'm on all fours and I look like Austin Powers on the bed when he's like, it's in the airplane.
Perfect. Give it to me, baby.
Randy,
Yeah.
baby, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it what you want? No, but like,
I'll be
I hate this.
I know. Well, no, but I am really just trying to roll my shoulder blades, realizing that I don't have bones where my blades should be hitting. That's my adventure.
The mayor seems really displeased when she sees the gold boat that you've brought back with you.
Yeah, even though you took it, there'll be rumors forever. People will always come looking for more treasure now.
We dug this out from the bottom of the river.
Just say it.
This
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite.
We're going to have so many fucking adventures coming to this town. Oh, God. Sun's really been beaten down. I hope we...
You just need to start a, like a t-shirt business or maybe, pre-made picnic baskets or something.
Dig
It'll
a
be
ton
fun.
of wells. I just have a sense that more wells is going to be better.
I feel like we've seen enough water for...
Which is a lot of wells.
it's not all that potable, though. You want to secure good potable sources of water.
I don't know what that word means, but sure.
Drinkable.
Well,
Look, I understand if we've put you in this spot.
I mean...
We found that, and that's a pretty good reward. So you should just, use whatever you were going to give us to make sure y'all survive.
Oh, well, thank you. That's kind of you.
It's just only fair. I did not intend to bring back something that would bring more trouble,
Yeah, I got it. I mean,
but it was
it was there.
and we were able to bring it back.
We're going to have to try and relocate the town, I guess, move on to some higher banks, and hopefully we'll be able to set up some farms there for when the rains come.
Yeah, wells.
Wells?
Dig as many wells as you can.
It's funny because none of our characters actually know.
I guess. And we probably just need the regular amount of wells.
Also, there should be a library being erected or a school. The Newt Village. Weren't you going to do that?
That's not going to be around here. That's going to be up past north of the dam.
Well, they said they needed to relocate. I thought maybe
Oh,
they could
yeah.
merge
There's
their
a
population.
city up north of the dam. You could merge with them.
They were
I hear they're going to get a massive public works project soon. Everyone will have a job.
like a long trip to make with all these people and children.
Yeah, but, there'll be a free school, too.
So you're saying there's a whole city there, and there's going to be like a nice school built there as well? And it's like a nice farmable land that
Nope,
we
I
can
didn't
settle in?
I didn't say any of that.
Well, we
You
don't
said
know.
It was a city.
I said there would be a nice public works project and that there's a little town there that...
Oh, so now it's just a little town.
I think you're putting words in my mouth,
I definitely heard city.
Mrs. Mayor. You know what?
Please call me Harad.
Where's Terrible Tim?
Turtle Town? I don't know. He's around somewhere. I think he was helping with some of the orphans.
I'm going to go find him. Petra, can you watch the boat?
Sure.
Pothos, come with me.
Can I talk to
He goes
these
with you.
sailors and see if we can have them help us ship the gold back to where we live?
Maybe wait for
Yar.
us.
Yeah, no, let's wait for the whole party to get
Okay.
together on that one.
Oh, we could certainly help you.
We will murder you if you fucking fuck us.
Sure, all we want is a small cut of the profit for moving so much merchandise. Fair pay for transportation.
I'm going to wait on my 2 partners and my goat.
I look for Turtle Tim.
You find him at the place that's been set up to take care of the kids with the school teacher you saved. You have the feeling that there's 1 or 2 less children than there were before.
Like, hey, and I flash him a little gold to get him to follow me into somewhere private.
Oh no.
Now, in graphic detail, what are the contents of his prison pocket?
We meet again, one of the brave adventurers who saved me from those
Yeah,
terrible cannibals.
I wanted to make a donation to the for the orphans, and I was told you're the person to talk to.
Oh no, you should speak to the school teacher, really, if you have a donation for the children.
Not for the school, for an orphanage. The mayor said you'd be the perfect person.
Oh.
Come inside. Look at. See, it's the kind of gold we're talking about here.
You're acting a little weird, my friend.
I'm just trying to get funding secured for the kids.
Well, I suppose if it's for the children, why do you want to talk in this weird, half-abandoned, half-flooded building?
Well, now
Sure,
that we're
it's dark
here,
in
look
here.
at this orb. Charm person. Oh, wait, I have a thing. My mercurial effect's weird.
It makes him attracted to children.
Whenever you can. Roll 1d6. Oh, nice. Whimsical patron. The spell draws upon the wizard's patron to succeed, but this entity's attentions are notoriously fickle. Before you cast the spell, roll a d6 to determine what size of die you use. On a 6, I roll a d30.
Oh, nice. I'm not sure. Prometheus I would describe as whimsical, but it's...
I think that's what it rolled on, but it was kind of far. But 12 plus 4, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Target a number of creatures equal to his caster level, just him. Each target must make a will save or fall under the caster's complete control as if they were his friend. They will not perform suicidal actions, blah, blah, blah. They get another save to break the charm equal to their intelligence. Minimum, it's 1 month if you have 6 or less, 3 weeks if you have 9 through 7, 2 weeks if you have 11 or less, 1 week if it's 15 through 12.
Holy crap.
I mean, minimum 1 day.
And he has to
What's
beat
the
your
DC
21?
on his,
Yeah, 21.
Critical success. I don't know where you're getting these ideas. I'm like a really good guy. Tarble Tim.
Now I know why Petra was sent to watch the boat.
He has failed.
So, good buddy, a good pal, guy I've known for a long time.
Yes, my dearest friend.
What's been going on with the kids?
Oh, I eat them.
That's what I thought.
They're delicious.
Can
Would you
Pothos
like some?
Can Pothos kill this guy?
Not yet, Pothos.
I mean,
Not yet.
Pothos can attack him for sure.
Just wait. You're here for backup.
He's like antsily, like shifting his weight from foot to foot to foot to foot.
We could do much better than that.
You'd be amazed by the array of flavors you
Oh,
can get
I'm
from
sure
them.
I would.
Would you like to have some? I have a little left over.
You know who's been talking about wanting some, and you can trust me on this as your good friend, the mayor.
Really?
Yes, let's go talk to her.
All right.
All right, Mrs. Mayor. Terrible here had something he wanted to talk to you about.
So, Turbaltem confesses everything to the mayor under the effects of Charm Person. He also gives up any surviving compatriots he had, and they're all lynched horribly in the town square by the rightfully outraged citizens of Caramore.
Why do it yourself, Pothos, when you can watch them get beaten and then lynched by the people they fucked with?
Are we standing in a relatively private space when you ask him this question?
Probably.
Off to the side of the crowd that's...
He lights his horns on fire while looking at you.
Oh, I kind of suspected, to be honest. Well, let's get back to the boat. I don't know if you want to show Petra that yet.
He puts the fire out and follows you.
Burning goat.
Burning goat.
All right,
horns.
so what do we do with this boat? Oh, I took care of some things in town, by the way.
Which things?
Oh, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I was going to broker the sailors to help us transport it.
That's a good idea.
Pats Pothos on the head.
His head is weirdly warm, like he's been sitting in the sun or something.
This is comforting. Petra continues to stroke Pothos.
There's a lot of help back there.
How Joe? What did you...
I got some shit in my eyes, and he helped me get around.
Well, Pothos has been pretty helpful so far, so I do not surprised.
Could this be like the new Las Vegas where we use some of our riches to rebuild the town?
Who would we give our riches to?
I think we split our shares first and then decide what we want to do.
That's fair.
All right, so let's go talk to this captain.
So I understand you want help moving a giant golden boat.
No, we want help moving some sealed crates.
All right, where are the crates?
They're not here yet. We're going to get them in about 3 days.
All right, long time to stay docked in a place like this. So tell me, did you find anything worth anything when you were up at the observatory?
You knew about the observatory?
I didn't mean to say observatory. I meant to say up north, but you know, sometimes the GM has a slip of the tongue when it's later in the day.
Oh, I thought I had to shank you with my new blades.
We found
Pothos is looking at this guy like, did you just have a seizure?
we found
I can smell red.
we found an observatory that looked into the inner layers of the earth, guarded by a giant.
So is that worth anything?
It might have been. The wrath of God destroyed the whole thing.
What a waste. Well, I guess we should be setting sail soon in that case. No reason to stick around here.
We will pay you 1,000 gold pieces if you wait around and transport our goods for us.
You've got a deal.
Excellent.
Nice.
That was easy.
Well, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You have 1,000 gold pieces?
Oh, he's got
Oh,
more
yes.
than that.
Oh, yes.
Because we just have gold.
Well,
Unsmelt
he's
gold.
got plenty of gold aside from that.
Sweet. Any loose ends that we can think of?
No, I think we just about covered them all.
There was the church, but that was surrounded by the toads, but I think we explored that as far as we needed to.
We could go back and look, but I don't think we really need to.
We were just wanting to report. No, we already reported back to the priest about that, I think.
So we spend the next couple days cutting up the boat, and I guess we'll hire some day laborers and just basically be foremen watching them to make sure they don't steal it. And then we package the boat into crates.
How much food do you have?
Petra.
We have a spoon, too.
Well,
You don't have a
I
spoon.
just returned it.
Yeah, but
Well,
they
no.
would help raise
The
us.
town has the spoon. Petra can feed our party easily. You know, if you want me to make rolls, I can do it, but
Well, they just need payment in food because they're starving rather than money.
Oh, I see.
I mean, you're like hiring dairy laborers in a town that's just been through a horrible natural
Right.
catastrophe.
Our money isn't going to do anything for them. They need food. Yes. I think it's not going to be tasty, but Petra can keep them fed.
Them and their families. We might not even have to pay them. You can literally just feed them.
I go to the
think
church,
that was its point, yeah.
and then I just tell them like organize food, a spoon drive.
I mean, and that'll be good for the people who aren't working for us. Petra will make sure to keep fed the people who are working for us.
Yeah, and I, you know,
With faith in the optical god restored, thanks to Saint Reza and the returned spoon, as well as the traveling priest Petra, people are well fed as they help to make your crates and jealously eye the gold. And you get it all packed up and on the ship, and I assume you ride the ship back to Calais?
Yep.
yeah.
Guarding our crates.
Bringing this adventure to a close, and in Calais you will be able to sell that for 50,000 gold pieces.
I'd
So
say
we just-
that might be enough to start your school there.
We just buy clay, right?
Well, 49,000. I'm taking my cut for the shipping off the top.
Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense.
That brings this adventure to a close.
No more EXP for clearing the adventure we got for combats.
That's how DCC works.
Cool.
Give you some bonus. I wanted to ask what the lower lower level party members need to get a level up. And
Oh,
what
yeah,
you
that's a good
need to
idea.
get a
Yeah,
level
that's a good
up.
point.
So
I'm like 13 EXP away.
Oh, I have to look it up.
No, 17. I believe you will level up at, is it 200 or 100?
Oh, I'm not even, nowhere near close to that.
I think it's 100. My writing here is real bad, though. So that comes out to 16,333.33 for each person.
16,000? Friggin' frag. You are currently level 3, darling? So level 4 requires 190.
Almost there.
From time to time, I smoke my opium pipe
How close?
for the pain.
Less than 60.
So yeah, so I don't know if that's within, probably not quite within what you were thinking of awarding, Danny.
No,
but
probably not. That's okay.
yeah, I'm still
I definitely think they should get like a
22.
little bump, though, just to try and help them catch up.
I was thinking about just bumping them up to
Level 4?
whatever level you guys are.
Honestly, I think you could.
Yeah, we're still well ahead of them.
Yeah, you'd only put them to base level 4, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with that if that's
Me
what you
neither.
want to do.
Okay. All right. So I guess for this catharsis, we'll do things a little bit different in that I'll start things off and talk about some things that might address some things that you guys might be wondering about, and some things some listeners might be wondering about, if indeed there are any who made it to the end of this extremely long adventure.
I can say by the metadata that we do have about 30-plus listeners slowly making their way through the whole thing.
Well, that's great.
Well, keep at it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
So,
You're there for the beginning.
so most OSR adventures, since they're all based on D&D, are very easily interusable, essentially. When we were earlier playing with Lamentations, we used stuff for Labyrinth Lord and stuff that was kind of setting generic, and then Lamentations, and it all worked pretty well together. Sometimes you have to make some small differences, like certain adventures used like descending AC, so I just converted that to ascending AC, and then it was pretty much good to go. So being that I was fairly new to DMing DCC, I kind of assumed that that would be the case for DCC as well, and so I didn't think there would be any real problem running this adventure, but it became pretty clear that that was not the case, because the power dynamic is completely unbalanced in this particular play session. You guys were just so powerful that you made things completely trivial, and that was pretty sad, because I think that this adventure is very creative, like has a lot of really cool ideas in it. For example, one major feature of this is the giant. unlike most dungeons, the observatory itself is only guarded by the giant, really. I mean, there's some other
statues and stuff. But...
Yeah, the statues, the words that you found in several places were keywords that would cause the statues to form like a human staircase to the next level. They only become aggressive if you try to brute force your way up there.
So there was supposed to be a way to decipher those words?
Comprehend language.
Oh.
Like insultation. That word you found on the tablet. Like you
interesting.
just say those words on the different levels and that.
But that was after we'd gone through all that.
Yeah, but you can come back.
Those were downwards. The stairs went upwards. So you could have gone down that way without running into them. But like the giant is really interesting. He's basically the only active adversary in the dungeon, and all his bones are cartilage, and he can squeeze himself through any passageway in the dungeon.
God!
He, like, no matter how small it is, he can force his way up there. So you might be going down a passageway, and then you just see a huge eye looking at you, and he'll like follow you all through the dungeon. He moves like a level 15 thief.
I am delighted and horrified in equal parts.
So is that why there's like the big chamber because he could just like follow us down?
Yeah.
Like climbing down the chain and shit?
Yeah,
oh,
and so it's
fuck.
like it's a really unique approach, but in DCC you guys are so powerful that like you just stand and fight him, you know. He had 200 HP like
he killed one of us. Well, I guess it was only one of us.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that wasn't
He killed the familiar.
He killed my cat, which dropped my
that's
HP down
right.
to...
No, your permanent HP.
Right.
You weren't necessarily dead, is my point. In fact, you could have healed them back up if the cat hadn't died, and we had a chance to roll them if that failed. So
Right.
even if he had swallowed Valerian, we could have cut Valerian out and tried to roll the corpse.
But because also the cat died.
But because the cat died, Valerian's max health was reduced to 0.
Yeah, but isn't that part of the function of the character, that like the class or whatever that I was playing? Like, I only had the amount of health that I did because I had a familiar. Wouldn't that have been a risk fighting any bad guys if it had killed my cat?
You could have had your cat do other things. You were just not playing your cat. That's my point. Your cat's completely independent. Your cat can actually cast spells, too.
I guess that wasn't ever communicated to me in a way that stuck.
Okay, well, that's kind of my point, is you weren't necessarily dead in general. It was just that because the cat died, you were dead. On top of that, I just wanted to point out, like, level 15 thief, so it sneaks around, too, so you don't necessarily know when it's coming.
like it did, well, yeah.
Well, think about some of the rooms we saw later on. There's 10 chests in the room. Each one takes 10 minutes to open. So we escape the giant, we descend down deeper, and we're like, oh, some chests. We open one, we open two. We don't know the giant can sneak through anywhere yet, because we haven't seen it.
Right.
We open the third, and then someone's like, what the fuck is that coming through the door behind us?
Right.
And then it, like, twists, and you can see its head or whatever, and you're like, oh, fuck!
X gonna give it to you.
So,
If we hadn't successfully killed it, it could have been pursuing us throughout the entire
Which is the
dungeon.
entire kind of the point. Is like,
Yeah.
imagine those gaps. You now have to jump those to, like, escape the giant.
Or that's where it's coming through after you.
Yeah, yeah.
so
like,
I have a question that's perhaps not as related to the module as it is to the game overall. Does that mean that we need to either expect that this is going to be a power differential that's frustrating with any or most of the generic modules that we play, or are we just going to make an attempt to play DCC-specific modules from here on out?
So my plan for next time is to run a DCC-specific module and see how that goes, essentially, and if that works well, and then the assumption will be that we can't use generic modules with DCC.
Okay.
yeah, so then
At least
we'll,
not without a lot of conversion work.
Yeah.
so then we'll go through some of the more popular DCC modules, and there are a lot of them. DCC is incredibly popular. If it turns out that it still just doesn't work for whatever reason, we're talking about changing systems again, which sucks because it's pretty quick. But like, technically, this adventure was huge. It's like half of our catalog is this one adventure, so
Well-
it's not like we won't have got a lot of content out of DCC.
Right.
It's just that like we would come back together and decide what we want to change to after this.
Isn't part of the problem, though, I'm not complaining, but the combination of Petra's abilities and your abilities are what made the party basically invincible? Wouldn't that have been a problem even if the module was more balanced?
No, it's a problem with DCC because it's not like we have a crazy party dynamic. It's a one cleric and one wizard.
Sorry, yes, that's the question I'm asking. I guess I didn't mean to say module. I meant the way that the game works, because you have one character that's keeping everybody healthy and one character that's able to buff everybody's rolls. So
let's go back to the giant fight and look at it. How much damage did Bendel do? A couple hundred, or a little over 100?
Uh-huh.
It ultimately didn't matter at all. I could have done 0 damage and the fight would have ended the exact same way.
Because I managed to paralyze it.
Petra soloed the giant.
So
Well, I only soloed it, though, because I had a huge AC thanks to your shield.
Sorry, I have...
The giant never attacked you.
Sorry, I have an additional question. I've only ever played 2 versions of D&D, and this and...
Lamentations?
No.
Oh.
Cypher system for extended periods of time, so they're the only ones I'm really familiar with. Does that mean that there will be, ideally in Dungeon Crawl Classic specific modules, that they will be geared towards knowing that these kind of spells that you guys have that stack in advantage for the party, that there are things that are powerful enough or have the ability to like handle that kind of thing?
That's kind of the question, and the thing is, like, we don't have an odd combination of spells. Clerics don't get spells the way wizards do, where it's at random. All good clerics have the spells Petra has. Mm-hmm. Therefore, like, any module made with DCC in mind has to take that into consideration. Now, we don't know how that'll play out. We've never played a DCC module besides Brandolin Red, which was with level 0 characters.
We will be releasing that.
Which will be our next release. But...
look forward to that. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's fun.
So that's kind of the question, is like, will it actually play differently or not? And if it doesn't, we're going to have to make a change from system, because like we can't keep playing like this. I know that like both you and Vox have expressed that you enjoyed it, and like I enjoyed parts, but it definitely got old being like think about that. We just Petra one shot a level 15 giant that's supposed to be...
I didn't one-shot it.
You one-shot it.
Yeah, I guess the way that Vox and I pay attention to games is just different than the way that you pay attention to games, because at least with my character, I felt like I was really struggling the whole time.
I mean, you killed 100-meter big
Put
crab.
them to sleep.
You effectively dealt with 100-meter crabs in one spell.
Right, but that's one instance. It's not like I was being that effective in even half the battles I was getting in. You don't have to be effective in every fight because you're in a group. Right.
It's a different set of skills for each thing.
I know. So this is my last general question and like you might even want to cut this because it might be too meta of a question, but are you guys planning on picking like a really well-reviewed module, or...
Yes.
Like, you're just going to give yourself the best possible chance that we find something that's balanced and good?
Yeah.
What was the last best reviewed module you picked?
Basically, you pick pretty much only the good ones, or your like well-known ones.
Mm-hmm. But I mean that doesn't matter as much, Paul. It doesn't matter as much because the problem is that the conversion doesn't match. So even if it's a well-reviewed general module, that doesn't mean that it will work well with DCC, which was the question.
I think basically asking. The only one that we got that wasn't necessarily... Technically, it was well-reviewed. It just didn't have that many reviews, was No Salvation for Witches.
Mm.
Ugh. The one with the temple where Willow died?
Yes, that's the one where Willow died. I don't think the temple or Willow dying was the problem with that one. It's more the opening. But, yeah, we're just going to have to see if, like, a module designed for DCC specifically
will play out a bit differently.
Will make a big difference. If it doesn't, we're going to do another system change. And It's not even necessarily that I dislike DCC. I just don't like trying to run modules that are designed in a specific way with DCC. Because the whole idea of this is we're playing the module like just as the module, basically.
Right, and if we're having the advantage of it not being made for DCC, then we have an advantage. We're not playing the module the way the module's designed to be played.
Yeah, like if we were playing like Danny was just DMing a game session for us, and he was inserting this module, he could edit it. He could be like, "Oh, the giant's just straight up immune to paralyze."
Right.
The giant like takes half damage from magic missiles. Like you're barely hurting it. Like, oh shit, this thing actually is scary still. But even if that was the case, there's still the base problem before the fight even happened. The idea that we are so confident that we could fight it because of DCC.
Yeah.
Like, think about the horseshoe crab. That thing should have fucking killed us. Then you paralyzed it. You one-shot the horseshoe crab, too.
Or a whole bunch of mechanical golems, like, charging out to come and fight you, and it's like, oh, I'll just shoot some magic missiles down at them, no biggie.
See, that's definitely a fault of the, like, only having played New School games before. You're both bringing up these scenarios, and I'm like, yes, of course I could win that fight. That's how tabletop games work. That's what you're supposed to do.
But yeah, because the whole OSR thing is supposed to... It's
supposed to be punishing and difficult.
Well, it's not even supposed to be necessarily punishing or difficult. It's supposed to
challenging.
Yeah, and like there's supposed to be times you can't win. Like it's caution and valor and making like good common sense choices. Like holy shit, one of those golems fucking crushed Reza in like one hit the first time we saw one, and like later on I was like, I'll just magic missile 4 of them at once. 3 of them died in one shot, and the other one's like basically dead.
The Newt army, we defeated them with just 3 giants, and like some of the villagers, I mean, we probably should have lost the village, right? If it was like a different...
I mean, how would you even... Like, that's the thing, is like, how would you even engage that in, like, say, Lamentations? You know, like, it would be a more... Like, you'd have to think about it. And there's room there for interesting scenarios and stuff, but then you're so powerful with DCC that it's just like, I'll just take care of it, no problem.
Like, we spent time saying, what's your AC? Oh, the Newt missed. The other Newt missed. And you were, like, unmasked. You were rolling, 10s or whatever, 100s.
Yeah.
And I just want to be clear for anyone listening that I'm not necessarily feeling negatively towards DCC right now, so much as I'm, like, feeling that this intersection of DCC and this adventure in particular was a disappointment.
Yeah, like, I would really love to have played... I feel like the thing I want to say is to have played this module with a different character, but I guess it's really just that I would have liked to play it with a system that was more that was in mind when the designer created it, like something that fits it better.
Yeah.
Because it seems like something that could have been like a fun thing to do for 3 months, but it ended up being this weird, like, challenging, frustrating at points, and then, but like not frustrating to the point where you feel like, oh, I'm working on this hard problem, and then when you figure it out, you get the satisfaction of having solved it. It was just, it felt like we kind of accidentally our way, like the giant. It's like it wasn't like a prolonged fight where we eventually won against it. It was just like one person died and then it died.
Yeah, the other thing is like we're straight brute forcing through some puzzles because like Danny talked about the statues turning into like a stairway or whatever. After we fought the first batch, if it had been a hard fight or like someone had even died or whatever, we'd have been like, "Oh fuck, we gotta figure something else out." But in this, we were just like, "Wow, let's just fucking smash it."
I guess this is what we're supposed to do: blast our heads against.
We also have spider climb and Reza's agility and Bindel's belt.
Well, Reza, like all of your agility and stuff, that didn't actually mess it up too much. Like I feel like most.
No, that was pretty.
I feel like most systems you would have your thief be able to do that.
Yeah.
Your
Plus
you're
7.
that's not that much.
No?
You're actually pretty in line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because like there's a lot of stuff in this adventure that's very interesting, but we had no incentive to try any of it or do any of it in an interesting way.
I mean, we certainly made attempts to try and explore at least as much as we could, but
honestly, I think we probably would explore less in a different system because I would be more scared. So
cautious.
Like that's probably the one upside is we saw a lot more of it, but that's also what turned this adventure into like
a slog.
What, 17 episodes?
And kind of to Ryan's point, like we're doing the catharsis episode, which is geared towards like, oh, what's the stuff in the module that we missed? What did this thing like? And mostly you've explained like that the giant was meant to be like a more complicated bad guy than he currently was. But like, I don't feel like there was anything that was mentioned in the module. Again, it's been a while. We've been recording it for a while, but I didn't take any notes like I usually do, where I'm like, what was because like almost everything I wondered about, we ended up figuring out.
I do actually have 2 questions. Did we actually kill the platypus for good?
Oh, yeah.
Who was bothering us?
I mean, maybe it'll show up again. So there was a hostile adventure party, like a rival adventure party, and I don't know if you remember, but Reza got shot with a dart that kind of gave him this hemorrhage, and they have a mirror so they can see anything that Reza sees once he's been shot by that dart, which is how they were tracking you and denying you sleep that first night.
That seems like a losing battle because they'd be denying themselves sleep. Too.
Well, also, how would they see what he's seeing? Is it because his eyes would be closed every time he fell asleep?
The
Yeah,
last
but
location.
they just follow you to like where you went when you try to sleep, and then they can find you from there. And well, they don't have spellcasters. They don't need sleep like you do.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I was keeping track of where they were going at all times in the beginning. So, like, when you guys decided to make multiple trips around the valley, I was like, well, they'll go on ahead and try to beat you to the treasure, essentially. And that's why the doors of the observatory were open when you got there. But after you steamrolled the giant, I was like, fuck it. And I just...
They're already dead, or they're just gone, or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah.
I mean, if we ended up fighting them, and they'd be like, "Oh man, I can't get past this magic shield," then I'd be like, "Magic missile."
Exactly.
Did they
so I
loot?
just dropped it.
Anywhere?
No, they're dead. They just disappeared. He just removed them from the game.
Oh, okay. I was going to say...
They would have.
He
but
debugged them out of existence.
Well, I just want to know, like, if we had missed treasure that they may have gotten.
Did the witch actually guard anything?
she didn't guard anything, no.
Okay, so she didn't have like any treasure in her well or anything like that?
No, not that I remember.
I
off
guess
the top of
I
my
did
head.
have a question, but it's one of those things that's not going to have a satisfying answer. The whole different weird stratas, like what was the point of the observatory?
The point of the observatory is it was kind of like in ancient times, it was sort of like a trading post with different Underdark civilizations, and so there's a lot of like weird stuff. There's also a lot of stuff in there that you didn't find. Mm-hmm. And actually, there's a very powerful item that was originally what I was intending to have be the goal of Petra's quest, but after everything kind of like was broken by DCC, I was just like, oh, they found the lens. We'll just make it the lens.
What was the item?
There's a book. It's called The Book of Drow Psychology, and it's a non-magical book written by Drow that, with intense study, you can basically topple kingdoms, and like, as long as you follow its advice, you can really undermine any government and stuff. And there's actually a timeline.
Super Machiavellian book.
There's actually a timeline in the back of the adventure that's like what would happen if the adventurers did nothing. And the rival adventurer party finds the book and they use it to like create a dictatorship that they rule over. So that was kind of like what I was using as a central hook, but because DCC just kind of broke this adventure's balance over
use it
its
very
need.
easily, or
it's really hard to get. It was more just that I was kind of like, let's bring this to a close at this point. So it's kind of hard to find in the observatory as well. So I was just like trying to kind of get it.
Let's not make them scour this place for 3 more episodes.
What's with the snake?
If you feed it a living sentient named being, it will clear the passageway and you can go through.
Where did it lead?
To more areas that have some treasure in different parts of the observatory.
Damn it, we should have fed Valerian to it.
So while
They have to be alive.
I know, but
while he was alive,
yeah,
but the
gotcha.
whole thing was that his well, I guess maybe I should mention that in case there's anybody actually wondering how that worked. Valerian's whole thing was that he was in this like death cult thing with a god of death that took the form of a goat. And each of the members of the cult were given a goat, and the whole thing is that if you die in battle, then a special thing happens for the goat, which I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm going to keep playing this character for a little while. Yeah. But that's why he was so, like, mad at Petra at first
For
healing him because he was like, well, you denied me my work, because they very specifically for the Godo War, which is the thing I'm playing, your farmer character has to be a farmer, has to die in battle. They can't
So at first you're like, no, I just need to die, but then when you remembered it needed to be in battle.
Well, and then I was reminded that technically it has to, because it has to be in battle. I was concerned that if he was just injured injured and then died basically of his wounds once the fighting was over, that wouldn't count, and I really wanted the chance to play Pothos.
Right.
So he basically accepted Petra being able to heal him because he's like, no, I just need to be in that fight where I'm just going to be unrecoverable, and then there won't be a chance of me like not dying in battle, quote unquote.
And then you were swallowed by a giant.
Yes, and then he got exactly the kind of death he wanted, and now we have Pothos.
All right, pretty good.
So at least one thing had a happy ending.
Yeah, we got Pothos out of the deal.
What type of party members were in the rival party?
So the leader of the party is a pair of siblings that are, I think one is a warrior and the other is a rogue, and they're super creepy. And then
Maybe
It's really cool.
there's a psychotic dwarf, and he's essentially a ranger. Well, he is a ranger.
Well, we knew there
Is he
was
the
a
one who
dwarf,
set
right?
up
We
the
saw
eel
him.
trap?
The eel trap was actually just like a fisherman type thing,
Oh,
but
really?
he's the one that was shooting arrows at you. And
Oh, he wasn't
following
part
you.
of the party?
what? No, he was a psychotic dwarf, part of that party.
Yeah.
He shot the thing at us from that grove.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay.
And he actually doesn't sleep, so.
Okay.
Insomniac.
So
And
that's
then-
their linchpin to the following us around and not letting us sleep?
Yeah. And then the final party member is a disgraced former magic user, and you found her inside the giant.
Oh.
The church with the toads and the paralyzed people? What's the story behind that?
It's a church.
Yeah, I remember there was a priest who said, hey, look after my church, and it was toppled by the flood and then
Yeah.
surrounded by
Oh,
toads.
why are the animals large?
It's just like a weird place, man.
Okay.
There's a whole underwater valley that had newts and shit.
Yeah,
I know,
but like
I was
it's a fair question because I feel like it was impressed upon us. No, really, this is a medieval version of our world, and then every fucking module we've played is like, yeah, the strata where all the vampires come from.
It's no longer a medieval version of our world.
Because we
fucked it up.
Right, but
It got weirder and weirder the more we played. I mean, basically, like once we went through hell, everything changed.
yeah.
I think that about sums it up. Anyone got anything else?
yes, I mean, since you had to change what the actual end goal was, was the destruction necessary?
In that instance, yes.
Okay. Was the excuse me. Was the space between across, when we went through the Moon Bronze Bridge, was that like actually interdimensional, or was that just space under the earth?
That's just like a huge
Huge chasm?
underdark cavern.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what was I going to say?
Was there a chance to find any actual drow?
I don't think any actual drow, but there are some like weirdos in the observatory that you didn't run into.
Oh, that would have been cool. This did kind of lack NPCs in the last like 2/3.
Yeah, well, we just didn't go to the right spots. I
How does a
guess.
gravity knife work?
Well, you're gonna have to look that up online, dude.
Ryan tried
I
to.
tried.
There's nothing on it. So it's just a thing that you just say. Okay. Did we miss any machines that were relevant?
Define relevant.
Did something neat?
Yeah.
I think we're kind of done.
Okay. I was going to ask, like, is there anything that stuck out to you, or should we just...
Isn't a gravity knife just a switchblade? But it was described
No,
as something different in the
it's-
game.
yeah. That's what I like. When I Google it, that's all that came up to. It's basically like a weird type of a switchblade, but
No, it was described as some weird leather strip way of making a wheel move by rubbing
Yeah.
it back and forth across it.
yeah.
That's being described as a gravity knife is the weirdest.
I couldn't find anything. Like I tried like historical gravity knife, like different. Yeah, I just
theoretical gravity knife.
I
like
couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you have any of your own questions, tweet at us, and Danny will get back to you.
At Dorker Realms.
Dorker Realms. #Eat Lions.
#Eat Lions. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening.
Edmund?
Oh, hello there, Master Bindel.
Were you here the entire time?
You know it every time. That's why I wear this apron. I found the spoons we lost. Look at my cat suit. Check it out. Its legs and butt.
We'll have to get back to you sometime in a different episode.
#butt his legs.
Butt
Nope.
his legs. When you got an ass like mine that quit 1,000 years ago.
He's really old.
What?
You should listen to it.
I remember when we used to feed the Christians to the lions.
Arguably our best episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we weren't in it.
No, not at all.
No, I want to do one with you guys, too.
Your presence was missed.
That does it for today's episode of Dorker Realms. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly of all, tune in next week.